Yeah, essentially it's just getting people on for half an hour, 40 minutes, having a conversation about a random topic. Just a name that I'm struggling with at the moment though, so yeah, it's all good and well. Just thought you'd like to know. So, hello and welcome to the first episode of Just Thought You'd Like to Know podcast. My name is Akhil Balagopal, and each episode I'll be bringing you the most random conversations with different guests as they share facts and opinions on the topic. So, recording this on the 26th of November, 6 days to go until lockdown officially ends in England, and shops and gyms and personal care services will all reopen. It's been a long and hard month for many of us, with pubs being closed, not being able to see our friends, and sports and leisure facilities being put on hold as well. To talk about this and the impact it's had on people's health, both mentally and physically, I'm joined by two members of the UK Powerlifting community, Mr. Troy Atkin and Amy Viner. Now, Amy has just recently graduated with a law degree from the University of Nottingham and is now in the process of doing a master's, and she's working in a graduate programme at prison. She started powerlifting at university and competed in her first year, and ended up breaking the world record in junior deadlift in the 57 kg category. So, Amy, really excited to have you on the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And we're also joined by Troy, most commonly known as the weightlifting lawyer on Instagram. Troy is a recent Masters in LPC graduate from the University of Law, where he focused on the corporate and commercial aspect of law. Alongside this, he has a passion for smashing the stigma around mental health and powerlifting, in which he dedicates his Instagram page to. He's also chairman of a youth club, participates in numerous pro bono voluntary roles within the community. So, Troy, amazing to have you on here as well. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
So today we all found out what tiers we were in. What tiers have you guys been put in by old Boris then?
I think we're tier 2 where I am.
Tier 2. What about you, Troy?
Yeah, tier 2. Tier 2 here.
Yeah, tier 3, from Kent. And I don't know, I didn't really see much difference with the tiers, to be honest. But I'm guessing you guys are glad, as regular gym goers, gyms are back open. But how hard has it been for the past month, for it to be during lockdown and not being able to go to the gym and adapting to different methods? Troy, what have you had to do differently?
Well, I've done everything the same as the first lockdown. I guess I've had the benefit of hindsight. So I went out in the midst of the first lockdown and I bought loads of kit. I got loads of weights and things like that. So I was better prepared this time for sure. So I've had my own shed where I've been training, and I've been managing to keep to my program. I've got a really supportive coach as well. So I've found this lockdown a lot easier than the first one, training wise, because I kind of prepped for this scenario. It's quite, sounds quite pessimistic saying that, but I like to prepare, and I didn't want to be in a situation like the first lockdown where I was, trying to hold 150, 160 kilos bench on a rickety wooden bench that I'd made. So, but yeah.
I'm still benching on a plank of wood, so I know how hard that is.
Yeah, and I mean, Amy will tell you in a second, the thought of me not training after religiously training, 5 days a week, 3 hours a pop for a year, it just induces that anxiety level. So I wanted to make sure that, okay, weights are a little bit of a premium at the moment, so that's fine, but I would rather have the weights and the kit and train, because for me personally, that's everything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what about you, Amy? How have you been adapting to the changes?
I've been in a similar situation to Troy. So the first lockdown came and I went out and bought some kit, because like he said, the thought of not being able to train is quite difficult. So I've been in a very fortunate situation. I've been able to continue my training, and for me, that's helped me get through the lockdown, because training is such an important part of of like my mental health and my mental well-being, and I definitely find like it helps to get through some like really difficult times. So yeah, it's this time around, it's definitely been a lot easier than the first time as well.
Yeah, I guess you had, like you said, Troy, though, you had the hindsight of how to prepare if, again, the similar situation happened like it did in March. And with all that, do you agree with the lockdown procedures? Like, do you think gyms should have maybe had an exception, or do you think it was just good with the whole lockdown process, shut everything down for a month?
Personally, it's not my place to get involved in politics or,
Oh, not at all. Yeah, but...
should they have done X, Y, and Z. But what I will say is that I think gyms are essential. I think from a personal point of view, the people that make these that lock gyms down, and for someone like Amy and I, we can't just go for a run in the park. We can't just go, we can't just swing. I'm 19 stone. I can't swing an 8 kilo kettlebell around. You know what I mean? It's we train under something called progressive overload. So we have hundreds and hundreds of pounds overloaded onto our body, multiple days of the week. And we need to maintain that, and that's our vice, that's our passion, and that's what we like to do. And so in an ideal world, the gyms would have stayed open, but the safety of all the many come before our needs sometimes. So I don't know what Amy's view on that is.
So I personally think that I don't know how true this is, but there's a lot of statistics saying that there's not many cases of coronavirus that actually originated from the gyms in the UK. And a lot of people have been arguing that keeping the gyms open benefited the health of the population, which makes you less likely to fall ill from coronavirus, like seriously, and also like protects mental well-being of many people, which I know lockdown has been an incredibly difficult time.
Yeah, definitely.
I think maybe the decision to keep some of the gyms open might have been a bit more beneficial, especially considering there's so many other places that are open, like garden centres, for example. Or like, I just didn't really see. I don't think it has been fairly considered, perhaps.
Yeah, I think it was interesting to see with like comments that I've seen on your page, Troy, and like other Instagram influencers who've focus on their exercise regimes and stuff. They've said how with gyms there's been a complete change, like from my personal experience as well, like how different it has been with the keeping the distance, the one-way system, spraying all the equipment down after. It's like it's stuff that we should have been doing a long time before even COVID was a thing. And it also goes to show like when you go out as well, it's like 10 p.m. restrictions on pubs, and people are forced to drink up quickly, but then everyone just descends onto the high street. And so it's just, the rules just don't make difference. And of course it's going to annoy people like yourselves, who are dedicated gym goers. And then
I think where, because I don't train in a commercial gym. So,
yeah,
the people that go to the gym that I go to all go there for a purpose, and that is to train hard and to be safe. And you're right. Gyms are proven to be COVID secure. I don't have the facts off the top of my head, but they're proven to be a very minute contributor to the spread of the virus. And I just think it's extremely sad that we live in a world where McDonald's can stay open, all these fast food outlets can stay open, and the like, but somewhere like a gym, who will surely, if anything, lighten the load for the NHS, not just through mental health, but through staying fit, keeping fit physically. So that's kind of my view on it. It doesn't seem like it's been thought through very, very hard. So
yeah,
I completely agree with that, especially as like at the start of this outbreak, our own Prime Minister went on a massive weight loss journey, explaining how he was losing weight to help stop the spread of coronavirus. Like that in itself says that living a healthy lifestyle, like exercising, is actually beneficial in the fight for coronavirus.
Yeah,
exactly. And then it's Yeah, no, I completely agree with both of you. It's a shame to see that, it's got to a stage where, especially like Troy said, with fast food restaurants and everything else keep staying open, but something that could take the load off the NHS being shut down, it's just detrimental to the whole campaign really that Boris was trying to spread at the start. But then this leads on to a play on, like, obviously has an impact on your physical health as well, but taking into consideration mental health. You both have like a serious following on Instagram, and recently, Troy, every day you've been reaching out to your followers, asking how they are on a poll, and I just want to know, have you had anyone get in touch telling you that they are struggling, and what advice you gave to them that you can give to the generic public?
Yes, so I've had, I think I've been making like um, a little toll of who's kind of reached out. I've had over, I think, near 3,500 people have like interacted with it,
Okay.
and I've had nearly 1,000 messages through people either reaching out, and because I give two options, I give a I'm good or please reach out. So, and if if you do the please reach out option, I'll just shoot you a message and say, hey, I noticed you clicked this. Do you want to talk? And they've got obviously. My thought process behind that was sometimes just clicking it's the first step, and they may not want to kind of talk about it. So I also made that clear, and the advice that I give is, well, I don't really give any advice. That's the kind of whole thing about it. I'm not an expert. I'm not professional. I'm just an ordinary bloke trying to do extraordinary things and showing people that you can go to the depths of darkness, but you can always find a light within it. And as cliched as that sounds, I feel people should be shown that. So that's why I tell my story so openly. I say to whoever wants me to reach out, I say, would you like to talk? They'll either ignore it, which is absolutely fine, or they'll say yes, and I'll listen to what they have to say, and I'll always make sure that it's confident. They'll know it's confidential, and it's and everything like that. And then I'll either say thank you for telling me, or if the conversation is leading to the way I think it is, I'll say, may I offer my perspective. So I never give any advice, but I just would, I feel like we've all got similar experiences, even though we've all gone through different things. So somehow I can kind of resonate and relate, and I just kind of give my own feedback from what I've gone through that could help someone else.
What about you, Amy? Have you had anyone reach out to you in particular, or have you felt like you had to reach out to anyone else to gain some support during like this tough lockdown?
Yeah, no, definitely. I found I went through a period where I really personally struggled with my training. Had a bit of time off because of coronavirus, and trying to get back into training because it means so much to me. Like, not having the strength I had before took a massive mental toll. And I made a few posts about this, and I made a few posts afterwards highlighting difficult times in my training, like I failed certain lifts, and I looked back on that to show how far I'd come since then. And I kind of explained, like, everyone goes through difficult times, and what you see on social media often isn't very realistic, because like everyone's profile is like a highlight reel of their life, and I just wanted to show that like everyone has difficult times in training, and the amount of people that reached out to me saying that it was really refreshing to see someone else struggle with their training and someone to actually share this, because quite often you don't actually see that side of people's training. And I was actually astounded by how many people reached out about it, and the support I also got from it. So it's quite refreshing to see.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think from like the outlook, you so for me personally, I think for many others, I take the both of you and I look at you and I'm just thinking, oh, powerlifting, both very strong individuals. And you obviously think, they're doing well for themselves, they're keeping physically well. But with an athlete mindset as well, you just never never need to think like how they're coping mentally and like the pressures that they feel. Have you guys, with the amount of following that you've had, do you think has there been a pressure to keep up with what you're doing, or there's certain standards that you guys have to meet, and has there been any pressure on your shoulders from that at all?
Definitely. I find like you see other people progressing within the sport, and it's very easy to feel like you've been left behind, or if you like, obviously life gets in the way of a lot of things, and quite often like whether it's uni work or your career, it does mean you have to put like your training on the back burner sometimes, and it's very easy to see other people progressing at a faster rate than you and feel like you're not doing good enough, and it's difficult.
Oh yeah, definitely. What about you, Troy? Like, because you're posting every day and you're staying committed to reaching out to your followers and stuff. Has that have you ever felt like it was a bit of a burden to have that pressure on you, or have you always felt like it's now turned into like a hobby or like a main job for you at the moment?
I think it's obviously a burden in some way because you're taking on a lot of kind of pressure because it's not exactly it's a delicate subject, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I started my page to keep accountable, and the reason I post is to get things out of my head. And so the thoughts that I write on the page are what I'm feeling at that particular moment, and it may not be for everyone. I've had close friends unfollow me and people from the gym unfollow me because they say it's not their thing, and that's okay. But the main thing for me is mindset is key. And I wouldn't be able to do what I do if I haven't kind of cultivated a strong foundation where I'm almost mentally bulletproof in the sense that the only person that can kind of affect me is me, if that makes sense. So I completely get what Amy is saying. Like when you see other people, I used to watch all the big bench pressers, and I used to think I'm never going to be like them. And I would only compare myself to world level bench pressers, and I would get down about it. But now I don't compare myself to anyone, and it's really hard to do that, and it's taken me a while to kind of get that mentality, especially when you're seeing people that do well. But as soon as I kind of focused on myself, my lifting shot through the roof. So yeah, it's definitely hard, and sometimes it's draining, and sometimes I don't want to do it. Sometimes it gets a bit lonely because everyone's coming to you for advice, and you don't really have anyone to turn to. And it's not that you don't have anyone to turn to, but you don't want to. By saying that you're feeling a little down, others may not. They may feel reluctant to come to you. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
And I never want that. I never want anyone to feel like that. I always want someone to know that there is at least one person, i.e., me, that will listen to them. So that's
yeah.
No,
I think it just goes to show.
Sorry,
Amy, go on.
It's quite incredible that you've taken on this role. Like, not many people are out there like speaking out about these issues in the first place, and the fact that you're there offering support to people, especially in such uncertain times, is really amazing to see.
Thank you. I mean, I think sorry, Akhil, just quickly. I think whilst people saying those things like that to me are really, really nice, and it's very humbling. I think that we do have a duty to help each other, and if I can in some way help that duty and kind of cultivate a culture of we're stronger together because we are, then I'll do that, because I never want anyone to feel like they're going through something alone. And I want to encourage a serious conversation about mental health, because ultimately I don't want there to be a stigma around it. We've got to understand that there is mental health, and that we will have our down days, and there will be anxiety and depression, but also there's a support network where we can talk freely about it. And that's kind of what I'm trying to push for. So thank you, Amy.
And that's one thing I've noticed, that the powerlifting community as a whole, there's such a sense of community. There are people there that have each other's back. Everyone is looking out for each other, and that's helped me get through this time immensely, knowing that there's other people out there. Everyone's in the same situation, and everyone's got your back, and it's to be part of such a community has been amazing.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of credit to both of you because with the amount of following, that's going to come with a lot of questions, a lot of expectations to meet, and like speaking of the pressures that you both had to face during that, Amy, this one's for you. You obviously you know broke the world record in junior deadlift in the 57 kg category, and that's obviously a huge moment for you career wise. Since that, you know, since breaking the world record, have you felt like there has been a bit of pressure on your shoulders that you've had to, maintain it, or have you taken it on board and been like, this is what the level I'm at, and this is what I'm going to keep doing, sort of thing?
I mean, definitely. Like I've set the expectation in my head now that I can only do better. So like I've set myself goals now. Like if I never break the record again, or if someone takes that from me, I won't feel satisfied. Like I'm out there to keep pushing up, and like I've put a lot of pressure on myself, and I feel like to a degree there is pressure. Like there's people that will break a record and that's that, and then there's people who continually go out and break their own records, and I guess everyone wants to do the best they can and do better than before. So that in itself creates a lot of pressure. But and I think also like sometimes you think that I've felt before, like if I don't achieve any more, I'm almost like letting people down, or being a bit of a disappointment. And I guess it's just pressure I put on myself that I don't really need to, but it's obviously it's still going to be there.
And I guess that's when, like you were saying, both you and Troy, that's when the sense of community comes in, and you both like, uplift each other. And if one of you isn't as lifting as heavy as you want to one day, and then there's always someone that you can turn to, which is a very important message that I think you've both put across.
Yeah, definitely. There's been so many people that at times where I've struggled have reached out to me, or I've reached out to them, and they've reminded me why I love the sport. There's been times where I've wanted to quit this year with everything that's gone on, and people have reminded me why I love the sport, why I started in the first place, and it's just that support, and it's actually incredible. It keeps you going.
Yeah, because one thing with you as well is it's just that powerlifting has always had this stereotype of being so male dominated, and so how hard have you found it yourself to be represented in the community, or have you had any struggles with equal opportunities, or has there been any incidents that it's just you felt like as a female powerlifter you've had to face that no male powerlifter would have to go through?
Yeah, well, so as a whole, powerlifting as a sport is very accommodating to females. So I have a background playing rugby, and as you're probably aware, it's a very male-dominated sport. As a female, at every stage, you're aware that women's rugby isn't taken anywhere near as seriously as men's. So coming to powerlifting was very refreshing because the men and women are on equal footing. Like you compete together, like you're compared, and like no, I don't think anyone really views a male as being more impressive than a female to an extent. However, recently I've experienced on social media, there's been a few comments lately that females are only getting reposted based on how they look as opposed to their ability. And I actually was a post of mine that was shared was commented on by a high-profile male powerlifter, basically insinuating the same. And a lot of people commented on that after I called it out because I basically said that it's difficult being a female in a male world, male-dominated sport, being a female athlete in general, because quite often people kind of like downplay your achievement by kind of almost like sexualizing you, whereas the same thing you don't really see happen to men. So I called it out, and then I've since received a lot of very negative comments, and it's been quite difficult to deal with because it's a very female issue. But I tried to raise awareness of this because it's a thing that's happening to so many females, not only within the sport, within all sports. And it's something that just, it shouldn't be happening, but unfortunately it is.
Yeah. You'd think, like, we're so far ahead. Like, it's, you know, so many girls are getting into sport, and like it's growing as a community. The fact that such comments still exist is still shocking. Like, I don't know how you feel about this, Troy. Like Amy said, it's not something that the male powerlifters face, but like, how do you feel when you see comments like this being posted on, like, you know, fellow powerlifters and stuff?
I think it's shocking, to be honest, because Amy will tell you that it doesn't matter if you're, you know, what you identify as. You walk into a gym, and the only thing that really matters is what you lift, or the weight under the bar, and you're all judged equally. You know, as long as you've got a good mindset, a good mentality, and an attitude to the sport, that's all that really matters. So, you know, I feel almost kind of sheltered. Anything like that at the gym I go to would be, you know, shut down immediately. And I've never actually witnessed. I've got a couple of training partners who female, and I've never actually witnessed anything like that. I've obviously seen it on social media because, you know, it's been flagged up, or I've seen it on stories. So it's disgusting, and it's got no place in it. But
I've found within powerlifting gyms, it's not a problem. As soon as you step in a commercial gym, it's sometimes a different story. So
yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. You know, I've been to a commercial gym a few times with, you know, females, and it's you know, it's just completely sickening to the treatment that they get. And I think I was going to ask Amy a question, if that's okay, Akhil.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Most of the people that are commenting negative comments, are they powerlifters themselves, or are they lifters, or are they just kind of random people that don't really know, like, the sport?
it's interesting to say that, because I've looked at a lot of these comments. I don't know if it's been beneficial to or not, but I've looked at like their profiles, who they are, and a lot of them are into lifting, but it seems to be that I think they almost feel threatened that a female can lift the same weight as them, or be more successful than them almost. And it's quite sad to see that that's how some people respond. And fortunately, it is a minority. Like, the amount of support I've had in response has been amazing. But there is this minority out there that just can't seem to grasp the struggle that females face within the sport.
Have you responded to any of the? Because I feel like these comments, they also come as like trolls, who they want a reaction from you. They want, you know, for you to say something, and they feed off that reaction. Have you, you know, you said that you've been reading some of the negative comments. Like, have you responded to any of them, or have you felt like you've gone into the comments and given them a reply? And, you know, has that helped you in any way, or have you felt that, you know?
Well, for the most part, I've ignored most of them, because, like you said, I think a lot of them are doing it because they want some kind of response. However, I've gone about it. I've tried to educate people. So a few people I've replied just explaining my point of view. And actually, I've had a few people who have initially been quite rude to me, who've actually messaged me after saying, I'm actually really sorry about what I said. I understand it now. And for me, like, even if just one person changes their point of view, that's a success. Because all I want to do is just raise awareness of this issue, so people don't have to experience this, and people don't think that this is acceptable. And so yeah, I've tried not to respond to quite a lot of them, because I just don't think it's necessary, because you're never gonna get through to some people. But if you can get through to someone, if you can explain it you have to do it in a very calm way, then I guess there's some success from that.
Yeah, I think, you know, in this day and age, it's a shame that, you know, you've had to face that, and then you've had to go through the effort of educating someone who's just been so nasty to you in the comments, and who's been so just rude in some way because they just felt intimidated. But like you said, it is good to educate people and get their mindset changed. I just wish, you know, you didn't have to go through that with every individual person and treat them a different way. Like, they should have the ability to, you know, have that common sense to look it up and sort of realise what's right and wrong. Has the high-profile weightlifter reached out to you at all? Powerlifter, sorry.
He has actually. He messaged me a very nice apology, which I really appreciated. He's someone I respect a lot within the sport, so I do appreciate that, and I guess he now aware that what he said made me feel uncomfortable and upset me, and hopefully other people can see that now as well.
Yeah, that's good, because absolutely, because I think with his following as well, I think it's with anything that you say, like, you just don't know how many people it's going to reach and how like inflammatory it could be, those comments. So yeah, I'm glad that he's reached out to you and apologised, but I'm guessing you've also had a lot of support from the community as well with everything that's going on.
Massively, yeah. No, a lot of people have reached out to me. A lot of people have been very angry with the situation and frustrated, and a lot of people have actually shared their stories as well off the back of it, which shows that this isn't just an isolated thing, like this is a problem. And it's something I've been seeing for a long time. Every time a female lifter achieves something, there's always someone criticising something about it, which it just isn't. It obviously it does happen to males, which is not to the same extent. So it's I think it's nice that people are talking about it now, because it is a real issue.
Definitely. I think just to round up everything that we've gone through. So, what advice would both of you have for someone that wants to get into powerlifting or wants to start going to the gym and becoming more active? Just some quick tips. What would you offer them?
Well, I'd say reaching out to someone already in the sport. Everyone in the sport is so accommodating, so welcoming, no matter who they are. Reach out to someone. Reach out to me if you want to, or if you know someone already in the sport. Get some advice. Don't be afraid to reach out, and also don't be afraid of going to the gym, because I know it can be a very daunting place. You don't know what you're doing and stuff. So get some help. Speak to gym staff. Most gym staff will be very welcoming and they'll help you out with it and stuff. But it's been an incredible journey, and for me, I wouldn't be the person I am without it. I used to be very insecure. I used to be very unconfident, and now it's improved my confidence massively. It's given me an incredible sense of purpose. And any advice I could give to anyone was start doing the sport and look into it, because it is really, really great opportunity to do.
And you, Troy, have you got any
tips? Yeah, I'm a relative newbie to powerlifting, as opposed to Amy, who's been smashing records for a while. But I would say that always just go in with an open mind. Like Amy said, just ask. I mean, I would never ever give any tips to someone in the gym, but if they came up to me and asked me for something, I would always do my best to accommodate or find someone that knew the answer for them. I would also say, find a reputable coach as well. That's one thing I wish I did a bit earlier, just because as soon as I got a coach, I was able to get a proper structure and kind of relinquish the fact that I didn't actually know everything. And I think also as well, I think on the kind of being comfortable in a gym, I think Amy said it perfectly, and I don't know if she'd agree, but like the gym I go to, for example, a lot of people say it's a very intimidating place, but actually I think the intimidating place are commercial gyms. I think that powerlifting or weightlifting gyms, specific gyms, are very, very accommodating. We even do CrossFit in our gym, and things like that. So, but yeah, advice would be just to do it. Just get out there, do it. Get out your comfort zone, get moving. Don't be afraid to fail, and above everything, just enjoy it. Because if you're not enjoying it, then what's the point? So, yeah.
And so that's the tips that you'd give for beginners, getting into the gym and getting into the routine. For people that's already started doing that and want to record their progress and stuff, and want to get onto social media, what advice would you give them for starting up a page, similar to both of yours, and what steps that they should take when creating a page, and what they should post and stuff? Have you got any advice for any, on the hinge of creating an Instagram, but they're not confident enough to do so? What would you say for them?
When I first started lifting, for a very long time, I didn't create an account for it because I was too scared to. I was very felt insecure about what people would think about it or how I'd look in it, and I put it off, and then when I created it, the people gave me was really nice, made me feel a lot better about myself and what I was doing. And also it helped my confidence immensely. Not only is it like a log of your training so you can track your improvements, but it's so empowering, especially being female. Like, I don't care about things that used to bother me in the past, and I feel so much more comfortable in myself now from creating that account and from logging my training in that way.
Yeah, I mean, for me, there's only one word, and that's authenticity. I think there's a lot of accounts where you kind of just see right through it, and my account's like Marmite. You'll like it or you won't.
Yeah.
So, but that's the nature of the topic that I talk about. For a lot of people, I get a lot of support. Some people, I get a lot of negative comments. I'm talking about 60, 70 messages a day, and 10% of them are quite horrible. But I would always say, like Amy said, it's a place that's yours to kind of keep accountable for your lifting and things like that, and over time confidence builds, and the great thing about it is you can show as much or as little as you like. I choose to show everything because that's just my message is based on being authentic to yourself. But if you're, I'm aware that I'm a little bit further along on my mental health journey than other people, or lifting journey than other people. So it's all, you can set your comfort level. But I would always advocate doing it. And don't be afraid to use the block button, because I've used it many times.
Yeah, that's a good message. But no, I think that's great advice for anyone who wants to get into powerlifting, gets into the gym, and wants to record their progress as well. So I'd like to thank you both very much for coming on to the show today for the very first episode of the podcast. It's been a pleasure having you both on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me on here. It's been a pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's been good. Sorry.
Yeah. Hopefully you've inspired a lot of people to live a healthy lifestyle and just be more confident in what they're posting and being open-minded and, like you said, Troy, authentic. And hopefully in the future you can come back again, and I'll be linking your social media profiles as well on the Just Thought You'd Like to Know podcast Instagram page. Be sure to follow both Troy and Amy and check out their progress. Also reach out to them as well if you have any questions about powerlifting. But once again, thank you guys for joining me, and that's it for today.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Cheers, Akhil. Thanks, Amy.